Welcome to Start Building Me, where every night I forget where to clip my microphone. Welcome to Start Building Me, where every night I'm training people online for free to get you into the habit of exercising, folks. You cannot be healthy unless you exercise just a little bit every day. And I'm trying to ease you into the process so you don't get pulled aside by charlatans in spandex telling you, shouting at you to do crazy stuff for $100 an hour. That is quite ridiculous. All you have to do is get your blood pumping a little bit, get your heart rate up, and folks, you can call it quits and go do whatever it is that you are doing at this time of night in Australia, or hopefully getting off to work in the UK or in Europe. You're probably already at work. So always with the spandex. Well, there are always the people that are going to be yelling at you for $100 an hour. Baby Dale, you cannot come in. I'm sorry. He tried to do the bum's rush. I opened the door and he was getting a running start behind me and came cruising in and ran right in front here. I was like, hey, we're live. And I was like, no, we're not live. Get out of here. That's right. It took me a few minutes to start up, folks. Anyway, I digress. Start Building Me is my nightly concept to prove to you that training is mandatory and should be easy and fun, folks. And so easy, but look, what are we doing now? That's called exercise, folks. Really, it's that simple. Where you're sitting down on your chair or on your bed, whatever it is that you're doing, and standing back up. So with me now, I'm not actually sitting and letting all my weight down on the box. I am just touching my butt on the box and going straight back up. This is called a squat, folks, and you've probably heard it before. People do them with barbells on their back generally, but you don't really need to. Even in jazz, always good to see. The whole purpose of these things is to learn a compound movement. What is a compound movement? A movement that is generally using multiple muscles and groups of muscles together. It's like a bench press, a deadlift, or a bench press. What we're doing here is a push-up, which is also a compound movement. No deadlifting though. And squats, they're known as the big three. Powerlifters do these ones. Variations of these are practiced by Olympic lifters, so very functional and useful lifts. I've pulled off my fingers. The climbing centre's opening this Saturday, so I'm going to go check it out. So I'm conditioning my fingers, hope they get back into shape quick, smart, else I'm going to wreck my hands. Anyway, good, I say good day. Reminds me of Dr. Katz. I can't remember the jokes, like basically, back in the 1800s or something, like if you wanted to tell someone to F off, it's like, I said good day, and then you just walk away. It's like as bad as it had to be. Anyway, that was cool. Recently on a Joe Rogan experience, I was hearing about Dr. Katz. He was a comedian friend of Joe Rogan in like the late 80s or early 90s or something like that. The comedian that did that role. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you can do that, folks, you're not in as bad condition as you think. Now, if you can do 1, then look, you're on the right path. Like I always say, that's that level of unconscious incompetence, the 4 stages of competence. The very lowest, unfortunately, folks, is unconscious incompetence. As I explained it last time, it's like if you're going cross-eyed at me with anything that I'm saying, but you can sit down on something and stand back up, that's the most basic form of a squat. Shake it out, take some time off, breathe, as I'm not doing when I always talk rapid fire. It's a trait of the Gordon family that I'm in. We need to slow down, folks. Anyway, I find a lot of peace in exercise, folks. Even coming here to explain this like a broken record again and again whilst working on material behind the scenes to start deploying content of what I do during the day, how to execute this stuff over the course of your life, different hacks, different edges, Different things you can do to supplement it. I mean, I do some pretty wild things, or I guess it would seem that way to people. I just got out of an esky and I'm freezing cold. Well, not an esky, but a refrigerator, a freezer. A big chest freezer, 500 litres, bigger than any bath I've ever owned. And it's at 2.7 degrees Celsius. So you get in there for 15 or so minutes and it has very strong anti-inflammatory capacities. So it makes you feel really good. So that's something you can do to supplement your squats. But until then, I'm rambling like I always do. Do another few. I'm going to do 10 now. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you'll find you'll go up through those stages of competence the more repetitions you get. So even though I say the numbers are arbitrary, as you do a couple here and then and do them over a course of a few days, you'll be able to do them over time where you'll be able to get some more numbers out basically. So you'll want to do 3 and then do 5 and then do 6 and do 7. It's a concept in training called progressive overload. So you want to keep on pushing yourself as you can do them, not pushing yourself when you can't do it beyond your limits, because that's when you cause muscle, tendon, ligament damage. So what you want to do is just go through the range of motions, get yourself to a point where you can move up through these proficiencies, where your muscles are getting stronger, your technique's getting better, you're learning to breathe, unlike I'm doing now. And really breathing through the exercise, and the more you breathe, the more you'll be able to do. When you're conditioning yourself, you'll be able to do more repetitions, and then you'll find your technique gets better, which enables you to do more, and it snowballs that momentum in to be able to do a lot more, get stronger legs, get bigger legs, or get smaller legs, whatever leg size you desire, basically. And if you're like me, you just want strong legs with good conditioning, and that's the aim of the game. So it's something like, even that I noticed, just to explain to people, I've been doing squats for 20 years. The more I still get these breakthroughs when I'm doing squats, even on startbuilding.me, where I'll do something that feels right and I'll be like, yes, that's right, I really nailed my feet going, driving into the toes, to the outside. Crackety crack. Shaking it out. And there'll be sometimes you'll get it and you'll be like, yeah, I feel that directly at the bottom of my glute, the slingshot that's pulling me back up. That felt like I was really doing it correctly. Correct? Properly? Correctly sounds wrong. I think that's what happens when you get out of the freezer, folks. You're like, you're glitching a little bit, but it makes you feel very relaxed. So I might not seem very relaxed, but oh man, you get out and you're breathing easier. It's just like, think of everything in terms of computer science sense, folks, or like computer circuitry. It's like a heat sink for your brain, right? For your CPU. In computers, you're always trying to cool things down or get less voltage running through it and keeping it stable. And that's sort of what I feel like the freezer is doing to me when I'm glitchy gordo, glitching out of control, or in the movie in the morning when I wake up. I jump into there and it just straightens me out after a bad dream, or I have a training session where I feel is going to be a big one, and so I want to prepare for it and shrink everything down before I do it. Then I jump in the esky as well. It feels good. But that's not helping you on Start Building Me. But I know people are interested generally what is involved to keep building me. And so I'll always tell my rebuild tactics as well, whilst I do a few push-ups and a few squats myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Two, 3, 4, 5. I wasn't breathing then. Yeah, definitely. I think you'll be somebody who definitely benefits from the freezer system. I think where like the live wire people generally are, it's like we're oscillating at this high frequency like a overclocked PC that's about to explode, and it feels very relaxing. Like I said, I've had a kind of a stressful day, and you get out of it, and it's just like, it's like the Fight Club thing where he gives him the chemical burn, and he kisses his hand and then sprinkles the powder on it, and he's like, this is your pain, this is your present, keeping you in there. It's kind of like that in a weird way, but it's beneficial, and I guess that's what he's driving at in Fight Club as well, is that the pain is now, this is what you're experiencing now, deal with this now. And you do, and you get out, and you're like, that ends up being like one of the hardest things you've done during the day, and it's not bad. And then you just like, go and do something hard, And it's like, that's what Start Building Me used to be. When I started talking on camera, folks, it wasn't easy at all. It was really, like always, practice makes perfect. And in the end, like, you don't fear that, you just do it, as the Nike awesomely puts it every single time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to start benchmarking my own. So I think, let's say I've done 10, 20, 30-ish, maybe 40. I'll try and do another, maybe I'll put down 50. So I'll do another 10 or 20 and call that 50. Keith is losing his mind. Somebody's walking past the house. It's a little bit too close for Keith's liking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And as you'll even see, when I do more squats and stop talking, I will be breathing harder as well, and getting more of a workout myself, and it relaxes me in turn. So now my heart rate is up quite high for me, 106 BPM. Keith, this is why you can't make friends in the dog park, mate. Well, he can, until they try and have a go at him, and then he finishes the job, and I'm just like, sorry, mate, but, if your dog's going to attack mine, I'm not going to get in the way when he attacks yours. He's just better at it than your dog. One time, to get Keith off, I have to literally stick my fingers down his throat to get him to gag to unlock that lock. I was just like, after that, no way. I ain't going to risk my freedom over this dog. And the joke was, he was on a lead and the other dog wasn't. So, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So now, instead of taking him to the beach 10 kilometers away, I take him to the beach 40 kilometers away where there's no one there. It's hardly fair. So, as I'm always saying, folks, what we're doing here is like the maintenance dose of exercise. Getting the blood pumping through your body. This is all you really need. You can go that extra mile to look like an athlete, and by look like I mean look like, because you're not going to perform like an athlete. You'll have to play the sport as well. So looking like an athlete's kind of counterproductive. You're just spending a lot of time in the gym to damage your joints and do not that much really apart from aesthetics. What we're doing here is just getting the blood pumping around your body, getting all the good benefits of exercise. You could arguably be doing more, which is why I suggest that you do a bit of walking from time to time if you can. Yeah, Keith is the best. He's the best dog for sure. Dale's my favourite, but so as you can see, they've both got their pros and cons. Dale, when I got up to take a leak last night and came back, and he was lying in the middle of both the pillows on the bed where I sleep and just looking at me like, I'm not moving, boss. I was like, that's why you're not the best dog. You little shite. Anyway, I'll call that 50 and put that up on my board, where I'm even going to take some bench marks for myself. If I get this into the correct screen, I can change the cameras. No baby Dale in the way today. I'll kick off the start with some push-ups to get my own ball rolling. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, always there are different modalities in push-ups, different variations, so to speak. People might say, I'm not going deep enough. You can do them deeper if you want and do less repetitions. That's fine. That's why I'm saying there is no cookie-cut solution for any of these folks. That's why you're always doing it and comparing your performance to your performance yesterday. That's just how it goes. You are really just the most important side of training is that test of yourself and your own performance, folks. And if you're testing yourself on somebody else's performance, that's when you'll start injuring yourself and doing damage. And that's why arbitrary time frames are crippling for most people. That dog. As I said, what is an hour? Like back in our evolution, why was something done for an hour? Why was something done for 2 hours? Why were you working out a specific exercise for 20 minutes and 20 minutes only? Like, it's just not realistic in any capacity. You've just got to do what you've got. And since people have let themselves go so terribly since industrialization, you're going to not be as fit as those people were to start with. But your tendons aren't going to be as strong, your ligaments aren't, you're going to have a high percentage of body fat, your blood vessels in your heart are probably going to be stressed more from modern diet, lack of exercise, or too much exercise, which can enlarge your heart and damage your blood vessels. Like, you can't really win. So in the end, for longevity, you've just got to keep consistent, folks. All these people now are jumping on the longevity bandwagon, right? And I've been saying this for years to people that I train with, not myself, that's a different story. But for longevity and health, slap that sort of bodybuilder, athlete, model look out of your head. Like, those people aren't training for longevity. Even if they say they are, they're not telling you the truth, right? All you're trying to do is get your heart rate up, off your baseline and back down. And like they say, try to get your heart rate up to 120 to 140 BPM from your resting baseline. And once you sort of identify that you're doing that, you're really doing enough, folks. And if you want to follow the science TM, as is the latest craze, most of the science, or if not all of the science that they have studies on, legitimate studies over, decades, is saying that the 35 minutes a day to 120 to 140 BPM heart rate range is what you're looking for. And you can get that from walking if you're really unhealthy, and you can get it from this if you're even, at an intermediate level health. And, you might have to do a few more, or, do some variations of them to increase the intensity of them, but this is more or less the gist of it, folks. So I'm going to go for 50 and 50 today, and call it quits for that, and try and thaw out without damaging anything. But I don't know, I feel alright. It doesn't feel like I've done too much damage, which is a good start. And don't feel like eating after the esky, which is strange, so might just drink all my fancy fruit teas. And see, that's already 20 minutes on the clock. So if I just do 20 or 30 more push-ups, that's a good workout, folks. Like, this is obviously what I can do in the time. It's not necessarily what you've done in this time, but that's what I'm saying. It's a sliding scale. So if you're, at the very start of Start Building Me, and you can get 5 or 10 push-ups out, you're strengthening your tendons, you're strengthening your tissue, and pumping blood around your body. All good things, folks. I can feel it building up pressure in my chest. I can feel it, the tension that I'm getting in my forearms, flexing my wrists, flexibility. I can also do them on my fists, as Benny von Bonbon pointed out before he got slammed by work. But nonetheless, his legend lives on, because he, they are good for people with lacking of wrist flexibility. But I don't teach them that way, because there's a lot of room for error there as well. And breathe, folks. I can never stress that enough. If you're finding it difficult to keep up, or even do a couple of reps, just sit down like I am sitting down now, and take some decent breaths of air. We need to breathe to stay alive. And it does dry out your skin though, magnesium sulfate. So I put, I can't remember exactly how many grams per litre. It'd be pretty easy to figure out, but it does dry out your skin. And I'm in our end of the data about whether or not it's bioavailable, if it actually absorbs dermally, but some reports say yes, some say no. So I'm rolling the dice with $40. It's not exactly that much. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But you can get sacks for 20 kilo sacks of Epsom salts, which is just magnesium sulfate, for $60. So I could massively reduce that bill. So I will be doing that eventually. Now I'm just going to be doing 10 more, folks, and then I'll be on my way. So always, like I say, if you're rewatching this on the stream or whatever platform you are, like and subscribe. It's always good to get new subscribers and chatting to people from around the world, wherever they are, whatever system that they're using. Keep me posted with how you're going. That's the aim of the game, is I'm wanting to Start Building Me in an organic fashion, where people who use it get benefits rather than just bombarding it out to people for engagement, which is precisely useless. It's the slow burning long game of marketing. And time is one thing that I have on my side. That is for sure. Anyway, I'll do 10 more and I'm getting out of here, folks. The new Simpsons is out and new Family Guy's out, and hopefully get a night's sleep. I'm not going to bother watching the football, but I said that last night and ended up staying up till 6 a.m. So we'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Love you as always, folks, anywhere you are around the world. I'm going to go drink myself to tea oblivion. Have a good night, folks.